Have you ever spoken a sentence you wish you could pull back into your mouth? The moment disappears, but the words stay. They return when the room is quiet. They repeat when the lights are off. Slowly, your own voice becomes the loudest judge you know. And each time it comes back, it sounds harsher than before. Many people believe peace comes from silencing that voice. But what if the voice grows louder because it is being ignored? What if the path to freedom is not silence, but listening? This old story carries a quiet answer. Listen carefully. In a small village resting between two green hills, there lived a woman named Mira. She was in her early 30s, ordinary by every measure. Her days were simple. She tended a narrow garden behind her stone house, shared meals with neighbors, and walked the same paths she had walked since childhood. Her life was not loud, but it was steady. In the evenings, she often sat beneath a wide fig tree with her elderly neighbor, Ellen. They shared warm bread and fruit, and Ellen spoke gently about her son, who had moved far away many years before. Her voice always carried a soft ache, the kind that comes from loving someone you cannot reach. One evening, Mira arrived tired. Her thoughts were tangled in her own worries. As Ellen spoke again about her son's absence, Mira felt impatience rise inside her. Without pausing, without kindness, she said words she did not mean to sharpen. She said that perhaps her son would visit more if Ellen did not speak of him so often. The words landed heavily between them, like a stone dropped into calm water. Ellen's face tightened. She gathered her shawl, stood slowly, and left without another word. The bread remained untouched. At first, Myra felt defensive. She told herself she had spoken the truth. But when night fell, the words returned. They repeated in her mind, again and again. Each time they came back, they sounded colder. Sleep would not come. Myra lay awake, staring into the dark, hearing her own voice accuse her. By morning, her chest felt heavy. The next day, she went to Ellen's door to apologize. There was no answer. She returned the following day, and the day after that, always silence. Days stretched into weeks. The words inside her grew larger, louder. Myra began waking in the middle of the night, her heart racing, the same sentence echoing in her thoughts. She pressed her hands against her ears, but the voice was not outside. It lived within her. You are careless. You are unkind. You do not deserve forgiveness. Myra stopped walking past Ellen's house. She avoided her neighbors, afraid her tongue might betray her again. Her garden wilted from neglect. The leaves curled, the soil dried. Myra moved through her days like a shadow, present but untouched by feeling. One afternoon, a traveling trader paused near her gate. He was an older man with calm eyes and a voice that carried no hurry. He studied her face for a moment and said, "I have something you might need." "I need nothing," Myra replied. "Everyone needs rest from voices that do not stop," he said. Myra froze. The man reached into his bag and pulled out a small clay vessel sealed with dark wax. "This is a jar for echoes," he explained. "You speak your regrets into it once, seal it again, and the echoes remain trapped. Your mind grows quiet." Myra's hands trembled as she took it. Peace was all she wanted. "What is the cost?" she asked. "Only this," the trader said. "Once sealed, it must never be opened again." Myra nodded. She would have promised anything. That evening, she broke the wax and spoke into the jar. Every word she regretted, every sharp thought, every ounce of shame she carried. She spoke until her voice weakened. Then she sealed the jar and placed it high on a shelf. That night, she slept deeply for the first time in many weeks. When morning came, Mira felt lighter. The voice had quieted. As the day passed, she noticed something strange. She walked by Ellen's house and felt nothing, no ache, no pull. She stood beneath the fig tree and felt only emptiness. She tried to remember Ellen's laughter, but the memory felt distant, thin. Days went by. Mira realized that in sealing away her regret, she had sealed away something else, her tenderness, her ability to feel deeply. Life had grown calm, but hollow. The quiet felt wrong. Her hands shook as she reached for the jar. She remembered the warning, but she could not live like this. She broke the seal. The words rushed out like a storm. Mira sank to the floor, bracing herself. But instead of being crushed, she became still. For the first time, she did not fight the echoes. She listened. Beneath the cruelty, she heard fear. Beneath the judgment, she heard pain. Beneath the noise, she heard a voice, desperate to be worthy of love. Mira spoke aloud, softly at first. She said she had hurt someone she cared for. She said the words were wrong. But she did not stop there. She said that one moment did not define her whole life. She said she could learn. She said she could choose better. The echoes continued, but they changed. They softened, not because they were silenced, but because they were understood. The next morning, Mira returned to Ellen's door. This time, it opened. Ellen stood there, uncertain. Mira did not rush. She spoke honestly. She said she had spoken cruelly. She said she was sorry. She said punishing herself had changed nothing. What mattered was taking responsibility and choosing kindness going forward. Ellen listened. After a long pause, she stepped aside. She said she had been hurt, but she had missed her friend. They sat together beneath the fig tree. The voice inside Mira did not disappear forever. It still spoke sometimes, but it no longer ruled her. She had learned the difference between listening and being consumed. Mira kept the broken jar on her shelf, not as a reminder of her mistake, but of a truth she would not forget. Silencing the inner critic is not the answer. Listening with compassion is. We all carry echoes of words we regret. But the real prison is not the mistake. It is the endless punishment that follows. You are not your worst moment. You are the one who learns and moves forward. Listen, don't fight. If this story touched you, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, and carry this lesson with you into your day.